expecting here, from what the numbers that we've been given, anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 people expected here at Albert Park tonight, gathering here from as early as 6 p.m. this afternoon, and with more people expected overnight to be staying here overnight, gathering support for the former President Jacob Zuma, as he's expected to appear in the Durban High Court just about a kilometre as the crow flies from where we're standing now, at about 9:30 tomorrow morning. Now, organisers say that they're expecting people from all over the KwaZulu-Natal province, and even people as far as the Free State coming here, saying that they still pledge their support to the former President Jacob Zuma, despite the charges of fraud and corruption that he faces.
And Lester, one of the things I imagine that you'll be looking out for, not only tonight but tomorrow, is the colour of all of this. And by that I mean the regalia that his supporters will be wearing, following a directive from the ANC NEC not to do so. Will that order be defied?
Very interesting that you mentioned that, Jeremy. Early on, I spoke to one of the organisers of this vigil, Bishop Vusi Dube from the National Interfaith Commission of South Africa, who also happens to be an ANC member of the provincial legislature here in KwaZulu-Natal. Vusi Dube is saying that while many people would be adhering to that directive from the ANC's NEC, saying people should not wear any ANC regalia, he says that ANC T-shirt is something that you could simply just take off, but that one is always ANC. And he says despite many people adhering that call, he says that many people won't be coming with any ANC branding. He says many people will be here from this evening till tomorrow's court appearance will be ANC members, and he says one shouldn't be surprised if you see many high-ranking ANC, even ANC NEC officials appearing here at these various demonstrations planned ahead of Jacob Zuma's appearance tomorrow morning.
Lester, that's as far as the main party is concerned, but what about the alliance partners, COSATU for instance, and also the South African Communist Party, and specifically, I think there is word on that from Dr. Bladen Zamande. We did speak to him earlier. Set that up for me.
Well, Bladen Zamande is saying that the South African Communist Party will not be coming out in support of former President Jacob Zuma, also adhering to that directive from the ANC NEC, urging members not to come tomorrow's appearance brandishing any of the ANC's regalia.
We are of the view as the SACP that now we really do need to respect the courts. The courts have come around to establish that this case must go ahead, and we will abide by that. We won't be outside the court this time around.
Lester, that's Dr. Bladen Zamande. Now, I know you've been in transit to Durban from Cape Town, so I'm not entirely sure whether you're aware of this or not, but some supporters are also questioning the integrity of the judiciary. But whether you've seen that note or not, I would suggest to you that that would probably be an inevitable strategy that many in that crowd will employ tomorrow.
Well, we've been hearing a lot of this since the National Prosecuting Authority announcing probably about a few weeks ago that charges will be brought back against the former President Jacob Zuma. And that has been a narrative that has been in the public domain from many people, particularly from some within the ANC, also trying to discredit the judiciary, trying to discredit the National Prosecuting Authority, and also trying to discredit some members of the ANC itself, saying that justice should be seen to be done, and that Jacob Zuma, after all these years, saying that he wants his day in court to clear his name, and this is ultimately his chance to do so. But overall, what I'm hearing on the ground is that there is still continued support for the former President Jacob Zuma. Again, speaking to Vusi Dube, saying that the KZN province is still a key constituency of the former President Jacob Zuma. He says in 2005, when the last time Jacob Zuma was in court, he said that you'd see the same people who were there in 2005 will be here again from this evening in support of Jacob Zuma, and saying that this support does not just simply come from when Jacob Zuma was deputy president of the ANC, then being elevated to president and then president of the republic. The argument is that Jacob Zuma had been working in KwaZulu-Natal from the late 80s, if you can. They use the example in trying to broker peace between the ANC and eNCA in the pre-94 period. They also talk about the role as economic MEC here in KZN from 1994. So they say, using all these arguments, saying that it's not just because Jacob Zuma was president of the ANC and president of the republic, but that he has a deep connection with the people of KwaZulu-Natal, particularly rural KZN. And organizers say we can expect to see that as people start gathering here at Albert Park from a little bit later this evening.
Lester, very quickly, just fast forward for me, if you can, to 9:30 tomorrow morning. You'll tell me that this is going to be a very brief procedural appearance that he makes. And at this point, do we know who's going to be presiding?
At this point, we don't know all those details regarding the court proceedings itself, but you're quite right. This is a scheduled appearance where the former President Jacob Zuma will be brought into the dock. He's not been arrested, so he comes to the court at his own volition. He'll then be called into the dock, and there'll be a quick reading of the charges. These proceedings is not expected to last more than 30 minutes. And as many legal observers and political observers have been telling us, this trial is not going to go by any quickly. It says that we can expect for a long, drawn-out legal proceeding. What is going to be interesting, though, Jeremy, is that what happens after that proceeding, after 9:30 tomorrow. Is Jacob Zuma going to be addressing the crowds which have gathered here in support of him? And would he be making any references to the ANC's NEC decision not to, or calling on people not to come to these proceedings wearing any ANC colours? That is something that we're definitely going to be looking at.